Amr Mar. We are about 10 lines down. First one line is Inshi Gimel and Beis. Amr Mar. We're quoting the Brisa that we learned a year ago, which we totally forgot, but don't worry, it's in a quote in its entirety. Pater min hamezuzah. We're talking about an area which is less than Dalid by Dalid. That is the point that we need to know. It's an area that is less than 4 amos by 4 amos. Says the Gemara, the halacha is you do not have to put up a mezuzah on it. Umin hamaika, and you don't have to put up a fence if it's a elevated area. Ve'enai mitama b'negayim, and there's no tumas negayim, there's no tsaras on such an area. Ve'enai nechlat bebate irechayma, and it's not sold together as a bayis irechayma, a house of an irechayma, which is a walled city back to the days of Yeshua ben Nun, has its special halachas. And if someone goes to battle, one of the things is you don't have to fight if what? If you have a house that you didn't live in yet. So if your whole house that you have, a pretty pathetic house, the whole house you have is this little hovel that's less than 4 by 4 amos, you don't go to war. My time. So what is the common denominator of these 5-6 dinim? Says the Gemara, because by all of these dinim, de bayis kesev behu bekulu, it says bayis. It says that it has to be a house. And if it's less than 4 by 4 amos, it's not a house. And therefore you don't put up a mezuzah, and therefore there's no tumas negayim, etc., etc. All of them. My time, the bayis ksivu bikulu, buy all of them. What's all of them? All of the aforementioned dinim. Mezuzah, and fence, and tumas of saras, and irachayim, etc. Case number 1. Case number 2. Ve'ein me'arvin boy, ve'ein mishtatvin boy. So now there's a dinam of Eruv. Now, in order to understand what we're about to say, we have our picture book here, so I think this might help us. Let's see if it helps us. 1 second. Let's see if it helps us. It does not help. Wait. No, it does not help us. Wait, maybe it does. It does. Back and forth and back. It does help us. Here. Page 7. There's more of this. Grab another 2 picture books if you want in the bottom left corner. Page 7, the top picture. Page Zion. 7 is Zion. The top left corner picture. Picture 19. Picture 19 here. You could see it over here. Have a look over here. I'm just going to explain this picture over here. It's top left corner picture. This is a mavui, and a mavui is a street. Mavui is a street with basically 3 walls. We like to call it a cul-de-sac, basically, but it's a cul-de-sac with walls. Now, that's the street area. What is directly outside of the mavui? You see there's chatzeros. What's outside the chatzeros? Houses. Now, the important detail is, it's not one house into your own front yard into the street. It's multiple houses into a shared yard. That's called the chatzer. You have multiple houses going to the shared yard, and then you have the shared yard going into the mavui. So now there's 2 areas over here that have potential issues to carry in. Question is, can I carry from my house to my front yard? Now, what's the question? It's my own front yard. Question is, no, it's not. It's a joint ownership area because I don't own that front yard myself. Me and you. It's like an attached house. An attached house which has a front yard in front of it.
Like a typical Israel building.
Yeah.
Building in the front,
Exactly. A little area, perfect, and it goes into the street. Exactly. So now, question number 1 is, can you carry into that front little yard area? Question number 2 is, can you carry into the mavui? So now, one more thing that we need to know before we see the Gemara. The mavui has 3 walls, as you see in your picture. You have the back wall and the 2 side walls. Theoretically, because it has 3 walls, it has a din of its own rishus, and therefore you should be able to carry in the mavui. There's a din derabanan disallowing, or in English, forbidding you from carrying in the mavui. Why? Because the mavui opens into a larger street, Rishus Harabim. We're afraid if you carry in the mavui, what might happen? You might go, forget, and walk into Rishus Harabim. So again, We have to deal with carrying from your house into the chutzner, from the chutzner into the mavui, and then from within the mavui itself. Yes. Yes. So now this is the fascinating part is we're about to have the word Erev. Now we, in our minds, what's an Erev? An Erev is a string and two poles. That is not a normal Erev. That's actually the abnormal case of Erev in the world of Erevin. The word Erev means to mix, to combine together. So Erev means to take two areas and make it into one. So there's multiple ways to do that. One way is like we do, is we put a string. No, that's a pole. That's a string. We put a pole with a string on top, and we enclose an area. That's one way to do it. There's another way to do it, because over here, if you look at this picture, everything's enclosed.
Is there like food?
Very good. That's exactly what we're about to do.
Do we do that here?
There always has to be Erev Chatzeres. It gets very complicated what has to be done in which areas, which maybe we could talk about. That's mamish going to be our din right now. Because if you look at this picture, there's no wall problem. If you go from your house to that front yard, you're surrounded by four walls. So you should be able to carry there without a problem. The problem is because the ownership of this area is by two people, you're not allowed to carry there unless you make something called an Erev Chatzeres. An Erev Chatzeres means that both people have to have a joint ownership in something. This is very relevant if you go to a hotel. You get to a hotel, same thing, put in your mind. It's all enclosed. What's the problem? You're right. Here it's also all enclosed. So why can't I carry in that front chutzner? The answer is you could carry midaraisa. Midarabanan you're not allowed to carry because you need to have an Erev Chatzeres. What's an Erev Chatzeres? An Erev Chatzeres is that we pull together money, or one of us buys, another one is meichel, whatever it is, and we buy a matzah, piece of fish, or we buy something. We buy some sort of food, and therefore we have joint ownership. Yeah?
We make a shul getaway, right?
Yeah.
We go to a hotel.
100%.
Is this inside the building?
Inside the building.
Someone has to make it.
Ellen has to make an Erev Chatzeres.
You have an apartment building.
Apartment building. You want to carry from your apartment to the stairwell. You want to carry from your apartment to the next door apartment.
No, like indoor rule?
No.
Indoors,
Now, the reason why you often never hear of this is because in apartment buildings, often, let's say in Eretz Yisrael, you're within a larger Erev. So if you're within an Erev, then you don't need this because you already have something. Yes. We went away one time with Yeshiva. We showed up to this place, and it usually happens about a half hour before a Shabbos. So it's like, do we make one? Do we need to make one? What are we supposed to do? It's the simplest thing. Go open your article sitter. So the caterer makes it usually if you have a caterer. So if you don't have a caterer and you do it yourself, yes, you need an Erev Chatzeres. Yes, you need a chatzeres. How to do it is very simple. You open the Artel Siddur, it's a little text. You basically take a piece of matzah. It's similar to Erev Tavshilin. You wrap it up, you put it down, you put it in a thing. Everyone has a joint ownership. You say, Hadin Erev, it's in Aramaic, of course, but you don't know what it means. So you read the English on the bottom because you have to know what it means. That's why it's in Aramaic, because they knew Aramaic. We don't know Aramaic. Okay, very good. And then you move on in life. Good. Maybe we'll get back to Erev Chatzeres one day. But for now, what's going on in our Gemara? Here we go. Ve'in ma'arvin boy. You cannot make an Erev Chatzeres in it. What's it? The small house. What's the small house? The house less than 4x4 amas. The question is, we just spoke at length about pulling together our funds and buying this box of matzah. Where do you put the box of matzah? Has to be in one of the houses. So let's say, 1 second, excuse me. Yeah, if you look over here, yeah, Aleph, thank you. This house is a little house. Can you put the Erev in the Aleph in the picture? Can you put the Erev in the Aleph? Not in the Aleph. In the Aleph house. Or do we say it's not called a din of a house, therefore you can't put the Erev in there? That is the question. Says the Gemara, Ve'in me'arvin boy. If you're making an Erev Chatzeres, which is to carry within the Chatzar and from one Chatzar to the next, you cannot do that inside that house. Ve'in, din number 2, mishtatfin boy. You can't make a shituf. What's a shituf? Shituf is a partnership. This is a shituf mivu'ais, which is the next level. This is the level to carry from the Chatzar to the Mavui. Again, we're not going to get too complicated, but again, it's a similar type of din. You buy the box of matzah, you can't put it in this house. Ve'ein manichin boy erev, and you cannot place the erev inside. So again, din number 1, ve'ein ma'arvin boy. This house cannot be part of the erev. Ve'ein mishtatvin boy. It cannot be part of the sheet of part of the partnership. Ve'ein manichin boy erev, and you cannot place it in the house. 3 dinim, all under one umbrella of what? Making some sort of joint ownership area situation. Why not? Very simply, my taima, loy chazi ledira. Because an area which is less than 4x4 is not fit to live in chazi, fit for dira, living in the house. Very good. So now we get slightly technical for a moment. It's a little bit of a hard Gemara. Let's just focus in for one moment. Says the Gemara, Eruve Chatzeiros, with regarding the Eruv Chatzeiros, Ein Manichin Boy. That's where we said you're not allowed to put it inside this little house. Aval, what does that sound like? Only regarding the Eruv Chatzeiros can you not put it in the house. Aval, however, l'shitov mivu'ais, l'shitov, with regarding the din of shitov, which was the din again to carry from the chatzar into the mavoi, it sounds like manichin bay. You could place it there, which again, we don't really understand because we don't really appreciate the fine nuance that we're discussing here between Eruv Chatzeiros and Shitav Mivu'ais. One is to carry within the chatzar, which is these front yards. One is to carry into the street. We don't fully understand what the difference is, but the Gemara is saying a diuk, it clearly sounds like there is a difference. Why? Says the Gemara, my taima, deloigara, it's no worse than mechatzer shebe mavui. It's no worse than a chatzer inside the mavui. What's a chatzer in a mavui? Detinan, like we learned in a Mishnah, Eruve Chatzeiros. When it comes to Eruv Chatzeiros, oh why? I keep looking at thought. Sorry, Eruve Chatzeiros. Detinan. When it comes to Eruv Chatzeiros, bechatzer, you're allowed to put it inside a chatzar. Whereas shituf mavoi, with regard to shituf mavoi, and again, just if the translation is Eruv is combining for the chatzar, shituf is a partnership for the mavoi. We're just in our mind, since we don't fully appreciate the fine nuances of the dinim of Eruvin, we're just saying one is to carry in the chatzar, the front yard, one is to carry in the mavui. So Eruv Chatzeiros, you could put in a chatzar, sheet of mavui, bimavui, you could put it in the mavui. What's it? The matzah, the food. So the Eruv Chatzeiros, you could put it in the chatzar, sheet of mevu'ais, you could put it in the mavui. Okay, that's a Mishnah. V'havinon ba, and we wondered about this Mishnah. Eruve Chatzeiros bechatzer. You're allowed to put it in the chatzar. It sounds like, where are you putting the matzah? You're putting it inside the chatzar. You're putting it just in the middle of a courtyard. V'hatinan. But we learned in a Mishnah, hanoisein eruvai. If you place your eruv where? In the following locations. Bebeis shar. A beis shar is a watchman's hut. Here we have some pictures over here. Be'achsadra. You put it in a portico, I think is the English word for that. I have no clue what that is. It's just what article used for an achsadra. I think it's called an awning. It's on the bottom of page 10. An achsadra. Umar peset. That's a porch. Picture number 31. Einoi erev. You put your erev into, again, a watchman's hut under a canopied area on a porch. It's not an erev. V'hadarsham. And if you live in such an area, Einoi Eiser, it doesn't aser to carry with anyone else. So what's the question? You just told me you're allowed to put the Eruv Chatzeiros where? In the Chatzar. But you just told me you can't put it in the porch, on the balcony, under the awning, in a watchman's hut. So how can you put it in the Chatzar? Meaning it sounds like you have to put it in a location. But you're telling me you can put it in the Chatzar. So how do we answer? Ela ema, and with this we conclude, Eruve Chatzeiros bebayis shebechatzer. You're allowed to place it in a house inside the chatzir. The shitufe mivu'ais, you're allowed to place it where? Bechatzer shebim mavui, in a chatzir of the mavui. Vahai, and this is loigara. What's this? This little house of 4x4. Loigara michatzer shebim mavui is no less than a chatzir in a mavui. We're gonna have to read this again, but let's just.
When it says a house in the chutzner, it could be under 4x4.
That's what we're proving. Again, so now just to speak out what just happened, the Gemara said was medayik. The Gemara said Erev Chatzeris you can't place it, but Shitov you could place it. What's the reason? Because it's no worse than placing the Shitov in the Chatzar. What does it mean placing the Shitov in the Chatzar? It doesn't really mean the Chatzar, like you just said. It means in the house in the Chatzar. Just like you place in the house in the Chatzar, you can place it in this small little 4x4 house. That's the din that we came to. It is a little bit of a difficult Gemara. I will send out Mirza